and there was a bunch of messages from people that knew me, and they all read the same thing. Are you on fucking stage with Avicii? The year was 2013. At this time in Australia, we had things called music festivals. Real ones, not golf tournaments with a DJ. I really do feel sorry for the young lads that think this is a good time. Now, back in the day, we had Future Music, Stereosonics, we had Park Life, we had Big Day Out, we had Soundwave. We were blessed. We did not know just how lucky we actually were. Now, we would make the absolute most of these festivals, some a little too much, and they're no longer with us. But this is the story of how I met Avicii. I lived with a guy called Ben Martin. He was in the music industry, he ran a record label, and he was from Canada. He had a lot of connections in the music industry, and one good thing about Ben Martin was he was never shy of taking advantage of these friendships. He would get us backstage passes to a lot of different festivals. One of these was the 2013 Future Music Festival, headlined by Avicii. Now, for me, I just liked getting loose in the sun, getting up to no good. I wasn't necessarily too invested in any of the acts. I used to get around a bit of Pendulum and a bit of Knife Party, but as far as everything else, it's just a good time to go to a public place, take the shirt off, and get lit. We've rocked up to this Future Music Festival unsure of what type of tickets we were going to get. The stars aligned and we ended up with AAA passes, and as the lady in the box gave us the ticket, she said, make sure you guys check out the artist area. Now, this was a new one for me. Ben's been around the scene a little bit longer, and for me, I was just excited to have a ticket that nobody else had. We go to the artist area. Now, let me just paint a picture for you. I had $50 to my name. I did have 100, but I bought a couple of tasty little treats from a fella, and $50 cash. Now, this was money to get drinks. And if you've ever been to a music festival, $50 does not go far. So I knew I had to pace myself, and we've gone backstage, gone to the artist area, and it was pretty plush. They had a bunch of buildings, like temporary buildings for the artists to chill in, and then they had this big open area, tables, chairs. They had like a kitchen there, and they had a bar there with a giant fridge full of drinks. I said to Ben, I'm going to get myself a drink. I couldn't even offer this guy a drink because I was so poor. And he came up with me to get his own, and I've asked for a Jack Daniels and Coke in a can. I thought, you know what? I'm going to start my day strong. I'll have a few of these, get a little tipsy, and then eat the lollies and melt for the rest of the day. Now, I've gone to hand this bloke the $50 note, and he's looked at me like an idiot, and I am an idiot. He said, mate, these are free. With that pass, you get to drink for free. I think you could have heard my jaw drop from the other side of the world, and I'll never forget the look on Ben's face when he's realised that I've realised that we were drinking for free all day. So naturally, we made the most of it, had a good time. Now, one thing me and Ben absolutely loved to do whenever we had these all access passes was to acquire golf carts. We really just enjoyed doing things we weren't meant to do. We really like to push the boundary. And, I can't remember what festival it started at, but we just grabbed a golf cart one day and went for a drive, and nobody told us off. So naturally, we assumed that we could do that at every festival, and this led to many good times. It may or may not have led to us taking one across a footbridge over the Torrens and tried to drive it into the Adelaide CBD, only to get it stuck in a bike tunnel. We couldn't actually get it out of there, as it was like that scene in Austin Powers where they're in that little cart and they get stuck in the long hallway, and then the thing went flat. So we took the key, went back into the festival, grabbed another golf cart, took it across that footbridge, and look, I'm not going to say this golf cart ended up in the River Torrens, but it might have got wet. So this is what we used to do. We used to just run amok back at these festivals, and I would try and meet and get photos with as many famous people as I could. One year I actually thought I was playing table tennis with Avicii, and I said to this guy, I was like, "Are you Avicii?" And he looks at me and goes, "Yes, I'm Avicii." So I got a photo with him and I uploaded it to Facebook, and one of my friends who was a DJ comments on there, "Bro, that's Martin Solveig, that's not Avicii." Now, I don't know. I think that guy had that song, Hello. I'm not really into dance music, but I like to go to these things just to be loose. And we made the most of our day. It was towards the end of the night, headliners coming up. We'd been around, we'd had some fun, we even took a golf cart into the actual festival, which was a big no-no when we saw a bunch of security guards running us down. The funny thing about that was when we drove in there, it was like a scene from The Walking Dead, because all the festival goers in their zombie-like state saw us in a golf cart and started running towards us. Security guards took us to a gate. Me and Ben assumed we were done and dusted for the day. We're like, well, that was good time for a couple of hours that we had here. And they just said, yeah, don't do that again, on your way. And we got to stay in there. So once again, we were blessed. And, in our heads, we thought, let's push this further. And towards the end of the day, headliner's about to come on, Avicii, right? And we're in the artist area having a drink, and we see this golf cart pull up. We'd been looking for him, but, we'd obviously allegedly taken two off the festival grounds and across a river, so they were two down. And we see this golf cart pull up. So me and Ben finish our drinks and beeline straight for it. Now, Ben was usually the designated driver. He was a bit more tame than me, all right? So, with Ben, he was like my carer. He was like my guardian at these festivals. I like to think it was for him like if he was working at a zoo and he could take a lion back to Africa and release it, that was him walking through the gate of a music festival with me. Maybe I wasn't a lion, a bit more like a baboon, maybe. So we jump in this golf cart, we're ready to go, and this guy runs over, and we're like, oh, fuck, we're done here, we're done. And he goes, hey, are you guys with Avicii? And I look at Ben, Ben looks at me, he looks back at this guy and goes, sure, we're with Avicii. And the guy goes, okay, cool, he's coming out right now, will you guys, when he gets on, take him to the main stage? Well, yeah, of course, that's exactly why we're in here. And the guy goes to me, mate, you jump in the back, Avicii's cameraman is going to sit in the front and film Avicii. I was like, all right, cool. So I jump in the back, I'm looking at Ben, and look, I was there physically, but it had been a big day, and I'm sitting in the back still unsure of what's about to unfold, and then this cameraman is walking backwards filming this guy, and at this, I didn't know what Avicii looked like, clearly, because I got a photo with another DJ thinking it was him. And Avicii sits next to me. The cameraman jumps in next to Ben, And Avicii looks at me up and down and he goes, hello. And I just looked back at him. I was like, g'day, mate. And then the cameraman goes, all right, let's go to the stage. So Ben, like a chauffeur, drives us to the main stage. Now, this festival was sold out. I don't know how many thousands of people were there, but every cook cunt in Adelaide was in that audience. And we pull up to the stage. There's stairs. We'll get out of the golf cart. I'm pretty sure Ben pocketed the keys because that's what we would do. We would take the keys from the golf carts so that we could just get a golf cart whenever he wanted. He's probably still got a set at home. And they walk up on stage and me and Ben look at it, like we're looking at each other and Ben's like, all right, well, let's go. So we just created an entourage and we were Avicii's entourage. So there we are, me and Ben, walking up the stairs with Avicii and a cameraman onto the stage to a sold-out Future Music Festival. Thousands of people. Avicii jumps behind the decks. Me and Ben are standing next to it, next to the DJ booth. Literally, there's 3 of us on the stage at this point. The cameraman's gone, looking out to a sold-out Future Music Festival. I just started dancing because, you know, I don't know what song he played. Maybe that Levels track. I can't remember what he opened with. But, yeah, we're just on stage. I distinctly remember Ben laughing because, you know, I was just in my absolute fucking element. And we shouldn't have been up there. There was no reason for us to be up there. I remember Avicii sort of looking at us like, who the fuck are these guys? But, you know, he's in work mode. And we were up on stage, I don't know, for a few minutes, and then Ben was like, yo, those guys are all looking at us, we better bounce. So naturally we just walked casually off stage. You know, who knows, maybe I gave the crowd a wave like I was performing as well. And down the stairs, jumped back in our golf cart, and we were on our way. And I don't know what it's like at music festivals overseas, but in Australia, with our shitty phone network and our garbage internet, you can't text each other. You know what I mean? Like, you can't text someone, back then especially, you couldn't just text your mates like, yo, where are you? So if you got lost from your mates, it was like a fucking pilgrimage to find your friends. Quite often you'd just make new friends and sit somewhere cooked under a tree and dribble shit until hopefully someone walked past, or you had you know, all right, we're going to go watch this group at this time. If we get lost, I'll see you there. So me and Ben, we finished our golf karting duties for the night, still laughing at the fact that we were just on stage with Avicii. And I get home, and we lived really close to where this place was. And we get home, and my phone is just pinging non-stop, like message after message. And there was a bunch of messages from people that knew me, and they all read the same thing. Are you on fucking stage with Avicii? So that's my story on how I met Avicii. And, you know, he's passed now. Rest in peace, Avicii. He did have some bangers when you were cooked, you know. I can't say I didn't fist pump or fucking slut drop to some of Avicii's bangers. But, yeah, we had a lot of good times at those music festivals. And like I said, you know, the youth of today, I sound like an old man. I feel old, and to be honest, a lot of the age is from those music festivals. They got to go to a bloody golf tournament to get anything remotely close to what we had. But yeah, that's how I met Avicii, guys. I hope you like this rant. I've got some other stories that I can tell as well. I've somehow managed to meet quite a few famous people. Maybe I'll tell you guys the story about how I met Nas. That one really aggravates hip-hop heads.